have stories. You don't know. Sometimes when I listen to the clients, I look at them, they look okay. But let them open their mouths and they say things. You know, they are really experts of their own. They know a lot about themselves. And that's what Carl Rogers is saying, calling potential. Then number 4, psychological problems arise when there is a gap between self-concept and the actual experience. When I talk about self-concept, it's the belief we have about ourselves.
Teacher, sisikii kitu.
I thought ni mimi nimepotea. Kumbe. Okay, she's back. She's back.
I'm sorry, I had a weak connection. My connection was a bit weak. It was going down. I'm sorry for that. I have decided to change the way I will do things. Let me work with data bundles. This internet sometimes can frustrate somebody. Now I'll work with my bundles. Okay, I was talking about the assumptions and I have given the 4 of them. I hope you are now okay. Okay, now we can move on to something else that the
Teacher, repeat the last 2. Teacher, repeat the last 2 assumptions.
The last 2, the last 2 are people are expert on their own experiences. And the last one is psychological problems occur or arise when there is a gap between self-concept and actual experience. So we have psychological problems when there is a gap between self-concept, the way we believe in ourselves, and what is happening. Are you okay, Rosette?
Yes, teacher. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Karibu sana. Now let's look at the core components of person-centered theory. The components. One of it is actualizing tendency. That is we call it the inherent human motivation to grow. That is called actualizing tendency. The one I have just mentioned there in the assumptions. Actualizing tendency. We all have a motivation to continue growing. That is one component. Another component is self-concept. That one says that individuals perceive themselves and their world. The way you perceive yourself and the world determine your behavior. I want you to pick that very well. self-concept. The way you perceive yourself and the world around you determines your behavior. That's very key. So the way I look at myself and perceive myself, it will determine the way I'm going to behave. In fact, the world of the client, according to Carl Rogers, let me write there. The word of the client, according to Carl Rogers, is called phenomenological word. Phenomenological. Phenomenological world. Phenomenological, it's the word of phenomenon, where your issues are. That's what Carl Rogers talks about the world. So the way we perceive ourselves and our world, that is our phenomenological perspective, where we have our issues in our brains, determines our behavior. We have a part of the brain, I can't remember how I used to call it. Yes, I've remembered. It is called a quality world. That world of ours is full of issues. And these issues affect the way we feel, the way we think, and the way we behave. That's what Carl Rogers is saying. So the way we perceive ourselves and the world, not the world ya nje yako, your world. You have a world inside you. Uko na hiyo. The world, you have your world, and your world is in the brain. The way you think about yourself, it affects your behavior. If you think about yourself as a good person, you behave well. If you think about you perceive yourself as a failure, you fail. If you perceive yourself as somebody who will never make it in life, that's what will happen. I told you when we were starting this counseling that what you show, you see. What you show is SHOW. What you show people, you see. If you show people that you are a coward, they will give you that. Watakuuzia uoga. They will do that very well. So self-concept is another component he talks about. Another component is a fully functioning person. So Carl Rogers sees people as fully functional. Fully functional. You can fully function as a person. You can function well if you are open to experience, if you trust yourself and live in the moment. Note that. Fully functioning person. So you can become a fully functioning person if you do these things I'll say here. You are open to experience. You listen to people. You also listen to yourself. Don't be too rigid. You know, there are people who are so rigid. Their windows are very closed. Secondly, if you trust yourself. And lastly, if you live in the moment. Don't live in the past and the future. Live in the present. That's where you are. Like now we are in the present, we are in the class. So other things, let them not disturb you. Be disturbed by what you are doing in the present. So those are the three components. That is actualizing tendency, self-concept, and fully functioning person. I need your input once again to see whether we are reading from the same script. Yes? Are we at par? Dixon, are we together in this?
Yes, we are, teacher.
Okay. What can you say about what we have said about the components? Anything you can tell us about this component?
Yes.
Component, yes.
Number one, it uses a humanistic approach,
Mhm.
and it uses the assumption that everyone is inherently good.
Mm.
We all have an innate capacity for growth and self understanding.
Mm.
And then, number two, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, every
Mm.
individual struggles or
Mm.
strives towards self actualization.
Thank you.
And the third, the client is the expert about their own life. And the fourth, psychological problems arise when there is a gap between self concept and the actual experience. So you must balance your self image, your ideal self, and your self esteem. And also be open to new experiences so that don't be rigid. Trust yourself, don't fear, live in the moment.
Very good. Hey, I think that student is in the class. That counselor is really doing it well. I can see people are clapping for it. Thank you, Dixon. And I really value, even when people are quiet, it does not mean they are not listening. They are. That's powerful. Appreciate. So let us all live in the present moment. Even in our own houses tonight, let us forget about the past. It will crush us. We may think about it, but not very deeply. Let us not also dwell very much on the future. It has not come, but we can dwell in the present because it's here with us. Yes. Somebody I have seen, like you are saying, the power of the mind. Yes, mind is very powerful, very, very powerful. And we need the power of the mind is shaping our attitude and behaviors, correct. So the power of the mind is very critical. I agree with you, Eileen. If our minds are empowered, we can do many things. Thank you. Now, I've talked about assumptions. I have talked about the components, tab 2. Now I am going to 3 necessary and sufficient core conditions that Carl Rogers talk about. 3 necessary and sufficient core conditions. Okay, before I say anything, what Carl Rogers means by necessary core conditions, because they are key. When we are dealing with our clients, we need them. They are very necessary. There is no therapy that you can do without these 3 core conditions. That's why they are called core, because you use them together interchangeably. You use them interchangeably. That's why they are called core conditions. Maybe before I check something here, somebody has just signaled me. You can be looking at the 3 necessary and sufficient core conditions, please. Check them before I sort I've not heard you talking. Tafuta, have you come up with the 3 necessary and sufficient concordations? Have you been able to come up with them? I want to hear so that I see whether we are reading from the same script. Yes, Judy.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also we have the congruence. In other words, the genuineness and or realness. We
Mhm.
also have the UPR, unconditional positive regard, and the accurate empathetic understanding, which also means empathy.
Thank you.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, you are very correct. Okay. Thank you, Judy, for that. Thank you. Thank you. I have been able to sort myself out. So the 3 necessary and sufficient concordations, as Judy has said, congruence, which is the same as genuineness. So the therapist has to be authentic. You have to be very, very sincere, transparent, and work within the relationship. Let me come there. Be truthful to the clients. When you feel overwhelmed, tell them. When you feel they are not moving in the right direction, tell them. Be very sincere. Be transparent. Don't try to hide. When you find a client, for example, they seem like they are not congruent. Congruent means they are not genuine. They are trying to trick you. Tell them, from what I hear you say, and what I had picked earlier on, it appears that there is a mismatch. That's what I mean by being genuine. And then tell them where the mismatch is coming in, and maybe they can be able to clarify the mismatch there. That's what we mean by being congruent. Even on your side, be congruent. If you find the client is fidgeting, tell them. I find as I can pick as we continue talking, you keep folding your hands and bending your head. Maybe if you don't mind, you can tell me more about what is happening or going on in your mind. You are very, very genuine. The other one, Judy said, is unconditional positive regard. It means it is a deep judgment, a non-judgmental acceptance. Accept clients the way they are. Even if you see like they cannot say anything, just listen to them. Sometimes a client can come for therapy. They give you very deep issues. I give an example like I told you last time. Clients came for therapy and told me they were recipients. It is not easy at all. It was not easy for me, but then I had to give them unconditional acceptance, which was non-judgmental. They have come. I listened to them. It was not easy. And by the end of the day, we reached I purposed to address the issues they had. And then from those issues, by the end of the day, I was able to pick a lot. And where they are, I think those girls changed because we talked. They were ready to open. They opened because I gave them unconditional acceptance. I listened to them 1.5 hours. It was not easy for me. I had never dealt with such a case again. The person who referred them to me never told me the type of people who were coming. It was not easy, but I stood strong. The third one is emphatic understanding. That is where you deeply understand the client's internal experience. You feel as if you are able to get into the phenomenological world of the client. Yes. You try with your mind. Like the way we can go to America with our minds. And you imagine Henry Ford Foundation. You have never been there, but your mind is there. So even with the client, you go there with your mind. You try to feel as if you are feeling that pain, and surely you show them that. Let them experience the emphatic understanding. Let them know that you really understand. You are trying to imagine, not understand. Surely that's not a good word. You imagine. I can imagine what you must be going through. It must have been very hard for you. Yesterday, I had a class in Dika, physical class, and I found this woman from another class. She's my friend. We talked. She had an issue, and we talked a bit. And she told me something that you have told me something that have made me feel like the issue is gone. Because what I did is emphatic understanding, trying to show that even if I'm not in your situation, I thought I can imagine what must have been going through your mind. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. It must have devastated. And she was said, yes, it has. Then I told her, even if it's not easy, we can still move on with the little strength that we have. That was very therapeutic. And she told me, you have made my day, very early in the morning when I arrived there. So that is what we mean by emphatic understanding. Be emphatic. Tell them things that you show that you are getting into the phenomenological world of those clients, and they will value you. Okay. Those are the 3 necessary and sufficient conditions. Then I move on. Before I go to the concepts, I have the key features of the PCT. Key features. What are the features? Because every theory could be having features. If you Google, you are going to see all theories have features. One of the features of this theory is it is non-directive. The therapist does not take an active role. They allow the clients to take the center stand. I come again. In the assumptions, we said the client is the expert. So you don't direct the clients what to do. Let them lead themselves. They know where they are heading to. They are the masters of their own lives. Yes. Another feature of this theory is focus on the present. The theory talks about now. I want to give an example. Tell me what is going on in your mind. It is now. What does that one mean to you? It is now. We are not talking of yesterday. Tell me more about what happened that time and how it is making you feel now. So the theory focuses on the present moment or current perception rather than past. Carl Rogers wants to help people in the present. The other feature is reflection. It entails helping clients to reflect back into their world. Help them to go back and see what happened, how it is affecting them now, and what changes they can make. I come again. Help the clients to think about what happened that time, how it is making them feel now, and what they can change. That's what we mean by reflection. So it is very reflective. And finally, the theory is relationship driven. So the success of the therapy depends on the quality of the supportive relationship. In fact, Carl Rogers, as we are going to see in the theory of Gestalt, the techniques are not very key. It is the supportive environment. So if you give your client warmth, if you give your client an unjudgmental attitude, if you give your client warmth, if you value your clients, in fact, therapy will be driven almost automatically. So it is relationship driven. Let me summarize the features. Number one, non-directive. Client is the expert. That's what it means. Two, focuses on the present. Yes. Three, reflection. The primary technique is reflecting back. You reflect back what happened, how it is making them feel now, and what they can change. And lastly, relationship driven. Yes. Now I can hear input before I go to concepts, because break is also near, but we are going to take like 15 minutes. We are going to do at least 2 concepts before we have a break at 8. What have you been able to pick? Rosette, are you in a position to tell us something? Rosette? Or you are not?
Hello, yes, teacher.
Yes. What can you tell us from what we have been discussing right now?
Yes, I think let me start by saying that I'm just excited. I'm excited with this topic. And I think I'm in love with what's his name? Mr. Carl. I think I'm in love with him because it's as though we think the same. I feel for me, this is more of me without struggle, more of my style without struggle. So, okay, what can I say? Okay, let me speak about the features. So it's non-directive, okay? So the therapist doesn't take an active role. So you allow the client to be the one taking the center stage and guiding you through. After all, they're the expert of their story. So as a person, I've been that person who people like sharing their stories, weird stories. Okay, I call them weird because sometimes they're intense, too intense. So sometimes I'll ask myself, what made this person feel it's okay to tell me that deep, Then with time, as I grow, then I came to realize there is just something in me that makes them feel, feel comfortable, feel safe, feel, So I feel maybe all through I've been working on a theory that I don't know the name. So now I know the name. Okay, so let me leave it there.
Now you know the name. Okay, your field is that. You now know the name. Thank you. Powerful, powerful. Okay, anybody else who wants to say something?
To me now it makes sense. There was a time we were in class and then we were like, the teacher told us like we allow the client to be their own therapists. Yeah, you allow them to talk. And then at the same time, you guide them through and you allow them also to start finding solutions on their problems. So it's now starting to make a lot of sense. Yeah, that's
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Yes. Allowing the clients to be, that's powerful. You allow people to be. When they are eating food hot, that is them. If you want you as cool, eat your way. Maybe there are ways people eat and it's not the good one, but sometimes we don't have to judge people very much. We don't. Let people have their own ways sometimes. If they want to eat with their hearts, not, and if it's not in a place, maybe people are really monitoring them, let them be. When I go home, sometimes I love what my brothers do, because my mom used to cook this githeri, And sometimes it's not even fried. It's eaten the way it is. And my brothers love to do it with their hands, no spoons. That's allowing the client to be, and they love it that way because maybe they learned it from their mom and they still love it that way. They feel natural when they are doing it that way. So people feel good when they do things natural. Even your own child, sometimes you don't have to be very artificial. Allow them to be. They are children. They cannot be grown-ups. You know, sometimes we make our children look like they are grown-ups. Like we want them to behave like adults or adults. It's not possible. Let the child be the natural child. Thank you. That's that.
Hi.
Judy. Yeah,
I was
Judy.
kind of lost. How many features do we have?
4.
4. Kindly highlight them. Like kindly highlight the first one and the last one for me.
I'll highlight all of them so that you fix where you got lost.
Okay.
The first one is
Okay.
non-directive. The first feature is non-directive, meaning the clients are the
Okay.
experts. The second one is focus on the present. The theory focuses on the present. It's not interested very much on the past. The third one is reflection. That means you help clients reflect back their words. It's very reflexive. By the way, that this theory is very reflexive. I heard you say, tell me more about what you said about your toxic relationship. It's very reflective. You are making them reflect. Then the fourth one is relationship driven, meaning the success of the therapy is totally dependent on the quality of the supportive environment. If your environment is supportive, you are intently listening to your client, you show them concern, you show them that it is them you are listening to. And I want to give an example there. Those people who normally see stories even in TVs and what have you, or those people who saw their stories of grandmothers in the past. And they used to tell the girls stories, or the boys used to be told stories by their grandpas. Look at the way the structure was in a circle, and this woman or man is really concentrating and giving the story, the warmth there. And you could see the way the children could listen intently and they ask questions. That is what we are calling a supportive environment. Even when we are giving that story, they can see you are presently there. The whole of you is there. Let not the client see that you are double standard. You are even looking at your phone as you are talking to them. That was very dangerous. Very dangerous, by the way, very dangerous. It means you have divided attention. I think those small things we have to be very careful about. When I'm dealing with very serious clients, that phone, I can even switch it off because I don't want to get distracted. I know the offense, it's an ethical issue. That's unethical. When you refuse to talk to, not unless maybe you have an emergency, but it is important to keep that. Anyway, that was, by the way, that is warmth. Thank you. Now, Judy, are you okay?
Yes.
Judy, thank you.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Now, let's go to the key concepts. The key concepts of the theory. The key concepts. When we do the key concepts, kama kawaida, I'll give you work to do. Key concept is the role of the teacher because they are the base of the theory. I have just done the preliminaries. Now I go to the gist of the matter, the gist of the theory, the core of the theory. is the key concepts. The key concept, they are the ones that the theorists work with. And number one concept is the core conditions. We call it the triad. The core conditions, all of them, that is the congruence, genuineness, UPR, and emphatic understanding. That they are one concept. So you don't treat them as three concepts, they are one. The core conditions is the first concept. And I think I explained what we mean by congruence or genuineness, where the therapist is transparent. And the client stroke therapist, because they are the two of them, they must match inner experiences and outer expression, the two of them. Like now, let me give an example when we come to congruence. My client may be sharing a very sad story. Then my facial expression is not reflecting the sadness of the story given. I think I'm not congruent. I'm not genuine. Okay. I may not cry like my client, but I should even use the body language to show that I'm really okay. What happened? What did you do? It must have been very painful. And when it happened, what were you able to do as a person? It's so therapeutic. What were you able to do? Right now, are you able to discuss that, or it's still painful? Can you see? Are you able? And then the body language is very critical. You're also looking at them very well, and you are concentrating. That is what we mean by congruence. UPR is, we said it is accepting them the way they are. When a client comes and tells you that I was raped, don't get scared. You will make them feel that they are the worst people in the world. You can be scared inside, but then you have to be strong. Yes. Tell them, okay. Like this man who told me he was raped when he was a young boy, and it has affected him for the last, he was 6 and he was 54. So you can imagine 48 years. And when he shared, it was not easy. Then I told him, I am imagining how it might have affected your life. Then it has affected, and he started, it has affected. The pain is still, I feel it now. I feel like it is fresh, like a fresh wood. Then as a counselor, what am I doing? I am giving what I'm calling UPR. I am there, giving that emphatic understanding and so forth. That is the first concept. The second concept is not very hard, is non-directive therapy. Non-directive is another concept used by Carl Rogers, and it says the therapy is a facilitator rather than an authority. The therapist is a facilitator. Facilitator means you coordinate the therapy, you propel the therapy, you help them to act. Tell me, you are what can be done differently? Given a chance again, what are you able to do differently? Maybe you can explain this without feeling guilty. You are facilitating. You are facilitating. You are not even giving any answer there. By the way, don't give them answers. Let them come with the answers. You've said that this marriage of yours has been toxic for 5 years. When you look back, what is this that has changed, that has made your marriage very toxic? Are you able to explain? them explain then what is happening. No, are you able? Are you in a position to explain this? Or do you feel like you can share this? Or it is still very painful? You have to be very careful because of those emotions. That is non-directive, be a facilitator, and guide the session, guide them when they get stuck. When they get stuck, you can give them a breather and tell them, is it okay for us to have a break of at least 5 minutes to help you process what you could be going through? Because what I can pick, or if I pick correctly, your emotions are very high at the moment, and you seem tensed. Then if they say yes, give them a chance. And don't just allow the client to keep talking and they are saying, how can they talk? Allow them to be, help them to process. The third concept is, it is already 8. I'll finish up with the third concept, is self-concept and incongruence. Self-concept and incongruence. When I talk of self-concept, it's how people perceive themselves. How do you perceive yourself? And how does the world perceive you? You may perceive yourself as a good person, but the world perceives you as a bad person. You have to be very careful. That I want to mention this word. The organismic self is the organismic self is you. How do you feel about yourself? There is the way I feel about myself, and there is the way the world perceives me. You have to be very careful that it matches. Or if it doesn't, and you still feel you are strong, continue working on yourself. People must not always acknowledge you, even when you are doing the right thing. Still on the same concept, self-concept and incongruence. Incongruence is the discrepancy between ideal self and the real. There is what we wish to be. All of us have what we call wishful thinking. That is ideal. Then we have the real. That is what we call incongruence. If there is a discrepancy between what we expect and what is happening, then there is a lot of incongruence. And you must help the clients to work on that. What is making them feel discontented? What is making them feel that they have psychological tensions? Because there is a discrepancy between what they would want to be and what is happening. And it causes, I said initially, it causes psychological tension. Okay, I leave it at concept number 3 so that we have a breather. It's now 8:04. We give ourselves 20 minutes so that we can also relax. Are we okay there? Davy, do we go for 20 minutes? At least we relax, eh?
Oh yes.
What have you been able to pick from the concepts?
This is interesting. I have a reaction to it, and more like a criticism, because I saw when you started off with this PCT, I almost confused it with the Bible. The way there's so much faith in this person, but I see that there was so much influence from Carl Rogers, who was also a faith person of faith. So I guess there's so much belief in the person, in the client himself, with all these beliefs. And the other thing that jumps out is I clearly see why we are discouraged from counseling family and friends. because I honestly cannot have this much faith in someone who is there with me every day. They are drunkard every day, and then I give them a chance to start saying whatever they want to say. That is going to happen.
I think I love that. I love that. It's called a dual relationship. They might never work. But are you on the other hand seeing the beauty of this theory? Yes, I also on my side initially when I started this theory, it almost confused me and I could see. So we allow people to be and then, but now I see the beauty of this theory because sometimes we can manipulate people to do our own things and we are not in their world. Anyway, I agree with you. That's why we don't do a dual relationship. If I'm your brother, you cannot cancel your brother because you know them more. But another person, you can listen to the story. But for me, imagine I'm also able to talk to some of my brothers and they pick. Even if there is a dual, they can pick. I'm even surprised sometimes they tell me, Ebu, come, we talk a bit, and they're able to pick, even if there is a duo. So it depends. If you judge them on the past, just dwell on the issue and guide them according to the issue. Let them tell you what they really want. Then you can guide them. Leave others. I think that's what Carl Rogers is talking about. When you are listening to people, don't judge them. Let them just talk. And then, even if you know more about them, just dwell on what they are saying and pick the good thing. I think that's what we are going to see. Devi, I think that one will become clearer. There is something we call codation of word. We are going to look at it. When you look at that, you are going to see how it will come out. But I also agree with you. Sometimes this theory can, but still even others are also confusing. Even like that one of rept. All theories can be confusing. And that's why we say every theory has limitations. Every theory has its good things. Thank you for that. It's an eye-opener. Let's meet at that time. It is now 8:07. By 8:30, let's all be here so that we can move on. Thank you very much. Thank you. We all have that one relative. I will now start looking at them differently. Correct. Thank you. Look at them differently. For me, I'm able to live almost with everyone because I pick the strength. Like there is a day this week, somebody annoyed me very much. But when I sat down critically, I was able to look at that strength of that person. I didn't judge her. Anyway, we shall do more when we come back. Thank you. Have a break. Take a cup of tea so that you relax.